어. 개도 탔네. 가자. 가자, 댕댕아.
Search, Toby.
아, 내가 움직여? 저기다. 가자. 문 열어. 저쪽에 무슨 창문 비스무리한 게 있었는데 저쪽인 것 같은데. 맞네. 뭐야?
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
오두막으로 갔다가 이쪽으로 왔는데 어디야? 이쪽 우물인데? 우물.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
우물로 이어졌다. 야, 얘들은 뭐 많이도 돌아다니네. 그 다음에 이쪽으로 나갔어.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
그러니까 그냥 바로 가면 될 거 가지고 들러봅시다. 오두막.
This hook might be useful.
아이씨, 쓸만해 보인다고 그냥 들어가 버리네.
Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved.
야짱.
Small gardening tools. Nothing of great interest.
공무 상자.
This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
이어 있고. 그다음 우물.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
갈고리. 내려. 새끼 같은데.
Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
아, 뭐지 이거? 뭔가 이상한데?
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
경감이 제일 당황스럽겠지. 그래. 해야 돼 있었으니까. 이 새끼.
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
잠깐만, 근데 새끼 자체가 이 브레이크스톨 인장이 있었다 했잖아. 무슨 의미가 있지?
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship?
Oh, what a horrible thing to have happened.
Please leave my Mary alone.
야, 이거 보드카에 한번 가봐야 되지 않나?
Holmes, don't look at me like that.
알았어.
Don't know what to think about all this.
이 새끼. 의자에서 뺀 사람들을 일교에서는 형태로 매듭 지어진 호출기 끈이 발견됐다. 이거 같은데. 없지. 단서를 이해해야 될 것 같은데. 와, 씨. 범인은 3명, 범인은 2명. 불량한 사고. 3살 때. 이어지나? 안 이어지네. 선언과는 인맥. 이렇게 되네. 어젯밤에 저택에 방문한 사람이 유스타스경을 살해하고 브레이크스톨 부인을 포박했다. 야, 그거 건장한 인물로 추정된다. 아니야. 아직 뭔가 더 봐야 되는데. 분석. 집에 가야 돼. 가자. 얘들이고 갑시다. 해봅시다. 분석.
Let us see how the rope was cut.
노끈.
The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut.
그러니까 원래
Let us
칼로
try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope.
원래 이거 일반 칼로는 이렇게 안 잘리는데 절단기 잘라. 그래. 이게
The
보통이거든.
fibers from this cut appear to be different.
잘 안 잘려. 아니 더 안 될 것 같은데. 야, 뭐야. 어디 잘라라고. 저기요. 씨.
The fibers from this cut
그러니까 칼. 오.
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
칼? 날카로운 칼에 잘려나갔으며 뱃사람들이 죽일 수 있는 설문처럼 매듭진 상태였다. 너는 출세에 치유체가 있었던 모양이다. 선원수색. 아, 떴다. 뭐야? 아, 서재. 가자. 이블롤터의 바위. 이거 공문. 1983년. 1893년. 있다. 화물선 지브롤터의 바위가 인도 뉴질랜드 호주를 거치는 6개월간의 항해 끝에 런던을 돌아왔다. 호주? 맞네. 호주를 떠났을 때 성공했던 거. 성송류. 스타스 블랙큰스톨 경과 여권을 잠깐만. 마리 플레이저? 용해 마리 플레이저? 마리 플레이저 아니지 않나? 호주에서 대지와 강산을 소유 중인 플레이저 가물 성송류. 마리 플레이저 아닌 것 같은데.
Here it is.
이름이 마리 플레이저였어?
The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
꼬맹이들. 이럴 때 전문가는 바뀌는 꼬맹이들이지.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
왔다.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893 and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
경찰보다 뛰어나대. 그리고 비교
Here it is,
수인나이.
Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put
그렇죠.
it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
비교 수 있겠나 해서 비교이 강조된 거 보고 훔친 거 아닌가 생각했는데 진짜 훔쳐왔네. 훔쳐왔어. 응?
I left it right on the table for you, sir.
죄송해. 그래 잘했다. 그래도 죄송이 아닌데.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
1월 7일 런던. 왜 건너뛰기를 왜 바로 뜨냐?
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
상관없는 사람.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
선장도 아니고. 잠깐만. 윌리엄
This
파트리키.
officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London.
잭 크로커.
Jack Crocker. was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
네, 그렇고 남아있고, 토마스 워커, 허버트 히팅턴,
This officer is still at sea.
방해 중.
This
있다.
officer is...
헨리 사우스워드. 헨리 어디 있냐? 있네.
This officer is still at... Captain Jack
찾았다.
Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
크로커 선장 정면으로 마주하십시오.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. I can't leave yet. I must talk to
선장,
Captain
어떡해.
Crocker first. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
잠시 후.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
잠깐만. 아까 칼 본 것 같은데. 정직감. 야, 이씨. 난정대 왜 오면 무조건 정직감이야? 능력질. 김링컨. 여탄 정화. 잠깐만. 여기 있다. 선원용 칼.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
그렇고 부인을 포함했겠다.
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
큐. 매듭.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night.
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
이제 끝이야. 와, 야, 이분은 많이 짧네. 사이판에 대해서 거짓을 진술하고 있다. 로코 선장은 지브롤터의 바위에서 그래 전투를 먹었고 이렇게 하면 안 되겠지. 그치. 제크로코 선장이 범인이다. 아까 당해봐. 살해됐고 부인을 구하려다 발생한 사건 이후로 정상 창작이 이어져 있다. 살해관 기각고 재판하고 공범 브레큰스톨 부인과 함께 정의의 심판을 받아야 한다. 잠깐만. 야, 벌써 끝이야. 꼭 선언 줄심. 선언 줄때 진짜 이건 맞는데. 호출해달라는 부탁이 곧바로 대중. 만약에 그 뭐지 3인조였으면은 아까 그 신문기사에서 봤듯이 얘들 그 스케일이 좀 큰데 홀랑 식기만 들고 갔는데 그것도 가져가지도 않고 오글을 버렸다는 거는 말이 좀 안 돼. 이거는 그래서 이거 무조건 범인 2명이에요. 이거는 그래서 이거고 그래 강도사건이 절대 아니야. 위장된 범죄고 얘들 일단 그래서 이건 아니지. 얘들 일단 소행은 아니고 오직 갱이에 의한 사망. 이렇게 하면 어떻게 돼? 아이 끊겨버리네. 이거를 때렸고 이렇게 된 거네. 이거밖에 없는데. 살당했다. 상처, 스토를 보호하려다가 발생한 사건이다. 그렇군 그가모도 남편으로부터 부인을 보호하려 했다. 수수께끼 해결됐지만 인상은 비밀을 묻힌다. 굳이 경찰에게 알 필요가 없다. 그래 지금 경찰은 그걸로 돼 있어가지고 그 3인조 그 렌틀 3인조 얘들한테 쏠려 있어가지고 이거 누르면은 홈즈가 그거로 나왔네. 어림을 쳐가지고 일단 이거 하고 이거 한 다음에 2개 결과 보고 이걸로 합시다. 그래 체포해야지 당연히. 사람을 죽였는데 아무리 오늘 한다지만.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
시간. 가자.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife, the knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again.
와,
Turned
씨.
into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear. And it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit.
조금만
Mary
기다리지.
had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
아, 그래도 상남자긴 하네. 그건 안 되지. 어디서 자살을 가려고.
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
아, 씨. 홈즈가 딱 앞에 있는데, 응? 어디서 죽으려고. 절대 용납 안 되지, 그거는. 법의 심판을 받아야지. 야, 이번엔 빨리 끝났네. 4전 2승 2패. 챕터 3랑 챕터 4는 많이 힘내. 챕터 2가 진짜 어려웠고. 씨. 가자. 멈춰. 아, 그냥 선처로 넘겨볼까? 그럴까?
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was...
Yeah,
and because you are the only...
똑같고.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary. I was due to set... Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I...
Lady Brackenstall...
들었고.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have
Till I die, do you hear me?
와, 이것도 똑같네.
Here is a... Now it is time...
안 돼. 이번에도 안 돼. 클릭. 그 다음 버튼 액션. W. 와, 씨. 다리 정강이랑
Please
톡
forgive me,
쳐가지고.
Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night.
이렇게 보내주네.
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
네, 좀 돌려댔네. 그래, 이걸로 하자. 아이고. 계속 선체 없이 바로 했는데, 바로 조지는 걸로 가는데, 그래, 이번만 봐준다. 예. 인성소치 집행자. 맨날 이거 조지는 걸로 가니까, 인성소치 집행자로. 동남한 거 잠깐 얘기해보려. 그래, 이게 챕터 4가 제일 쉬웠어. 챕터 1부터 4까지 통틀어서 도미난 도서적 선택을 제일한 비율. 와, 64%. 그래, 64%는 잘 내기 빌었네. 합시다. 날 포함해서. 야, 근데 저 인성수치 저 안 변하나? 수호 왕님 김물원의 비극. 와이씨.
For heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
역시 왓슨도 그거라가지고 왓슨도 의사여서 한분이 하지. 왓슨도 그 비중이 크게 없어서 그렇지. 응? 이 게임에서 똑똑한 걸로 치면은 거의 한 뭐지? 상위 1%쯤 되나? 1% 0.1? 이제 포크 영승 집중자. 인성수치 집행자. 그래. 이거는 내일 하기로 합시다. 오늘은 여기까지.